Welcome to Mr. Podcast with Claude.
And Justin.
Hey, it's me. My name is Jen.
Hey, now there's three of us talking about
What?
The Watchmen, episode 104. If you don't like my story, write your own.
That's
Well,
typical
thanks for
Lindelof.
classic. He loves his titles that are too pithy or not pithy enough.
I'm pretty sure this is the last thing he tweeted before he left Twitter, actually.
Nice. Starting the podcast off strong with some zingers. Well, thanks for joining us. It's been a while since we've had you on any of our talkathons, and
It has. Yes, thank
so
you
tell us
for
what's been
having
going
me.
on in your life.
Oh man, I've just been trying to catch up on all your hours of amazing content. I've just been working on spreadsheets and falling asleep to the dulcet tones of the two of you.
Well, sounds like you and the rest of America have been doing the same thing. Well, okay, guys, Watchmen episode 4. We're almost halfway through the season. So what do you guys think so far?
I mean, I'm loving. Well, okay. I was sorry. I should have been prepared for that question.
I can go if you want.
Well, okay,
You want some
what I
time
will
to collect?
say,
Okay,
and then
go
I'll
ahead.
let you talk, and then
Sure,
and then
sure.
I'll talk again. I am absolutely. I'm a female. You may notice from my voice and or name,
Didn't want to judge.
and I love just the opportunity to watch a show that has interesting women doing interesting
Mm-hmm.
things that actually are not about being women. So
Mm-hmm.
far, no babies, no weird
Mm-hmm.
like
Well, there have
tropes
been
that were.
babies, but yeah.
Yeah, but you
Anyway,
know what I mean.
not
It's
necessarily
not.
connected to the female
It,
characters.
we
Anyway.
have yet to see highly instrumentalized female characters, so
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah. No, I
exciting.
know what you mean. I was just
I'm just
kidding.
waiting for the other shoe to drop, really. But it's, we've now, with this episode, got three really intriguing
Mm-hmm.
women doing really interesting stuff. And I'm not really a comic book person.
Are you not counting
And
Pirate Jenny?
oh, you're right. Pirate Jenny is amazing. Sorry. Oh, gosh. See, once you start counting, you leave people out. That's the problem. I do love Pirate Jenny. Um, but that's exciting, and I'm fascinated to see where the show's going. I am a little hesitant, having watched both Lost and The Leftovers. I don't want to get too excited. Why did you gasp? Just
That's
the thought
gasp
that I've watched
worthy.
those shows.
I'm
Uh,
gasping that you'd have little faith in Lindelof being able to stick the landing.
Well, I think Lindelof and I have a few things in common. One of them being recognizing that mysteries are more interesting than answers. But
Mm-hmm.
then what we do with that is,
Yeah.
that's the big question.
Yeah.
But I'm really intrigued by the world that they're building, and I think they've done a
Mm-hmm.
fascinating job of bringing in history and the contemporary moment in some really fascinating ways. And
The
yeah,
Contemporary Moment's a pretty good band name. I like that.
yeah, you
Um,
should come see us. We're playing the
we're
boat
playing right now.
house.
Nice. So, what about you, Justin?
Yeah.
That was
I
a time
agree
joke.
with all that more or less. Uh, yeah, I think that Pirate Jenny and Red Scare have their own like buddy cop show going on in the
Yeah.
background that we never
Yeah.
Mhm.
get to see. Um, but yeah, I think okay. So like in general, I've enjoyed the show. If you've heard the podcast, you probably got that. Um, but I think that this episode was so far the most normal one, if I
Mm-hmm.
may. I don't know in terms of like. So it did introduce one big new character, but it wasn't exactly centric in the way the last one was.
Mm-hmm.
It was, it was spread out a little more. Regina King was in it more uh, than she was last week. So it was more like a kind of mid-season
Mm-hmm.
settling in, developing the plot. We didn't really learn final reveals about anything, but certainly we made progress in terms of finding out about Will Reeves collaborators.
Mhm.
I feel like we should have guessed that. You know, I remember in the last podcast we were talking about this Lady True thing and the phone booth and like what's up with
Mhm.
that? You know,
Mhm.
how why are they funding this? What's going on? How does it tie in with Dr. Manhattan and or Ozymandias? And so anyway, like feel like I should have. The other thing I feel like I should have. Did we say this or am I crazy? I feel like we never said that the car when it gets dropped down is just like the car from episode 2 that got lifted up.
Yeah, we
Like
said
it's so
that.
logical. Did we say
I
that?
think
Okay.
we at first we caught the parallel of a car flying away in one episode
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
car being dropped, and then I think we realized it was her same car.
yeah.
But the thing
But I
I
feel
feel
like I
like,
didn't get to the next step of like,
yeah, I
oh,
think that's what I feel like I should have guessed was that they were gonna cut those scenes together and basically do what they did in Lost several times, where like the end of that scene where the car drops, then Regina King shows up, right? And it's like they'll tie those scenes together because like um Gene Smart's character doesn't understand what that car means, right?
Right.
So it makes
yeah,
sense
yeah,
for Regina King to show up, which she does, to give context to that car.
yeah.
That's the thing
Well, and
I.
Yeah, I mean, it's this great moment of, the viewer knows more than she does, even
Yeah.
though she is so, in certain ways, really far ahead of us.
Hmm.
She knows a ton, but when the car drops, we connect it right away with the car having been lifted up. But what doesn't really happen in this scene, and I guess, we're going to get to this scene once we're watching the episode, but some kind of acknowledgement when she sees
Yeah.
Regina King behind her of like, this might not be what I had in mind, or
Well,
is it? I mean,
that's the
like,
thing I think she skips over, and it's a classic Lost thing
that's
where
what I was gonna say.
you attach meaning to an event, but then the you get more information, but they don't necessarily reevaluate the meaning because it was sort of again another misdirection of the card falls. She looks up in the sky and like Mars twinkles, which like it never does because it's not a star.
Right.
But
That was so
but
wow,
misleading.
are you an astronomer?
by day, which is really tough because all the stars come out at night. Um, but I like a challenge. And so, but yeah, it was like, oh well, why would they make it twinkle if like Dr. Manhattan didn't specifically send the car dropping? But that makes no sense. That
Yeah.
he would send a car, right? From where? From Mars, people. Did a car? I
Yeah.
feel like that's Damon, right? Like, did he really? You really thought a
Yeah,
car
yeah.
came from
There it
Mars?
is.
But
You
maybe
really thought that? That's your fault. Don't
But
blame
maybe-
me.
Exactly.
well, maybe he sent the twinkle.
He might have sent the twinkle.
He just has to.
But here's the fallacy, and this is where the Lindelof shuffle comes in. Just because a car falls to the ground and Mars twinkles doesn't mean they're connected.
That's where he gets you, and he lays these traps, and you walk into them. He's like, "Hey, I didn't tell you to walk in the trap. I just made it very comfortable for you to come into the trap. I didn't tell you to walk in.
I put a blanket down.
Listen,
I put a pillow.
There was pillows.
Okay.
There's blanket. There's a mint on the pillow. I mean, there's a big sign that says "Please come in." But like, you did all the walking.
But this is your fault.
But this episode gives us a word for that. It gives us a phrase for that phenomenon. What is it? Like an electromagnetic confluence?
Oh, thermodynamic.
There we go.
Thermodynamic. What was it?
I don't know. We're gonna
Something.
get to.
Yeah, I did appreciate that too. When I heard that
Confluence?
phrase,
No.
I thought they were like trying to give us a hint, like from what they, a word to call that thing,
Yeah.
a sort of more scientific thing. But the other thing I wish I would have guessed, and another classic misdirection, is that Will could walk.
Oh yeah,
you
totally.
know.
I thought the same thing. Like
Because they gave us all the details of that, right? Because didn't he, like when he takes the handcuffs off
Yep.
and makes eggs or whatever he does
Yep.
in the bakery, and it's like,
Yep.
okay, there it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I'm like,
maybe he did hang the chief.
Maybe he
himself.
did hang the chief.
I totally.
After
believe
all
it.
this. I mean, I 100% believe he was involved, but like literally, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Well, he can lift 200 pounds now.
Yeah, I know.
First of all, I didn't know he was over 100 years old. I didn't really do the math. I thought he was like 80, maybe 90.
Yeah,
But they keep
yeah.
saying he's over 100, so that
So-
even makes me think he even more like has.
I think it
powers or
makes sense if
something.
he was like, I don't know, what, 7, 5, something,
Mhm.
I mean, he was
in like
walking around in the riot.
20, what was it? 21? I don't know when it
Yeah,
starts.
Nice.
see, that's the thing.
So,
I keep forgetting the date, so I was thinking
yeah.
he's like 80, but I'm 20 years
So,
behind.
so we have not talked about the clock.
What's there to
Clock,
talk
what
about?
do you think?
It's a
It's just the
clock.
clock. It just tells time. What else? What do you want?
1921, by the way. 1921.
1921. Yeah, yeah. So there you go. Like
Historical event.
he should at least be like 103 or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway.
So Lady True, yep, another great character.
Yeah, yeah, that was a crazy introduction.
Yep.
And okay, but like I do have to admit that um, a part of me, as much as I think the development is interesting, I think this is true probably no matter what the story is, but
Hmm.
I love living in that space of like uncertainty and possibility.
Hmm.
And as soon as they start specifying, your range of possibilities starts to shrink.
Hmm.
And so I do feel this, like, even though we don't learn answers completely, like we do
Yeah.
learn partial answers. And so I did feel this sense of like, oh man, I had all these like crazy thoughts about the conspiracy and who the collaborators were, and like
Yeah.
now I really can't, I can't just think whatever I want. Like I
Hmm.
have to take into account, okay, well, Lady True's involved. It's got something to do with the clock,
Hmm.
and and she's got an agenda that seemingly has little to nothing to do with uh, Angela and her family and so on, and that
Hmm.
family connection maybe is going to cause some kind of conflict or cause something to go wrong. Like that's the whole context that they kind of set up at the end, and so I can kind of like see a path forward for the plot, whereas before it was very,
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean that place that you live in with like those like Lost or mystery shows like for a long time where you can just kind of imagine things. So anyway, I slightly mourned the loss of that because I was really intrigued by
Hmm.
this guy in a wheelchair hanging someone and then saying there's a vast conspiracy and I can't tell you about it or your brain will explode, and like
Hmm.
it's easy to toy with me that way, I think. But then as soon as you tell me, no, this thing is true, here's who he's collaborating with, here's a hint about what the plan might be or what the point might be of what they're doing,
Hmm.
there is this sense of disappointment, I think. But I think it's not exactly, I don't consider it a harsh criticism because I mean, I think that's just true of like storytelling in general. Like as soon as you start giving answers,
Hmm.
because I think the answers are interesting and I
That's
enjoyed
the
the
part
reveal.
they have to get right is the answers they nail down has to be at least as good or better than what the possibilities were.
Yeah,
So I think, going back to the clock thing, what that's about, why she's building it in Tulsa, what's it supposed to do, hopefully will be all very interesting things. But yeah, her character, the introduction was really interesting, and I thought the actresses did a really good job playing that because we've seen those kind of characters before. The rich person who like is above it all type of thing. But I love that line where she's like, "I'm not a billionaire. I'm a trillionaire." I thought that was very nice and specific. Um, and the whole backstory with her buying Andrew Veidt's company and stuff like that, and which ties into where he is and why he's in
presumably that
prison.
will tie in. Certainly, you were right about the prison thing. They
Hmm.
made that very explicit
Yep.
in this episode, and I think they also strongly implied that he's in space. So I feel like your theory is looking pretty good so far.
Well, what they did, they threw a curveball though. I thought if he was in space, he'd be on Mars, and now they did that editing trick
That
where
implied
they
he's on the
made him
moon.
that implied he's on the moon, which I
Yeah,
thought was weird. I was
I
like,
did think that was
okay,
strange as well.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If he turns out to be on the moon, I'm gonna be a little confused about what they're
Hmm.
doing.
But if he's on the moon, he could still be there in, in a trap by Mr. I mean, Dr. Manhattan could still
Sure,
be,
it would still be
That's true.
the same warden, you know,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but yeah, it just threw me. I didn't think the moon would come into play, and they. But again, I think they. So if if I try to learn my lesson here from the Mars twinkle didn't mean what I thought it meant. So the edit, which was an editing thing, so
Mhm.
the
Doesn't necessarily
editing
mean
thing of the
that.
moon
Yeah.
shouldn't mean that either.
Yeah. That's why I thought it might just imply that he's in space and he could
Mm-hmm.
still be on Mars,
Yeah.
but
I think one of the big questions for the show as a whole is going to be when everything is said and done, are all these pieces going to fit together well, or is it going to feel like some of the stuff that they started with, especially the explicit grounding in the Tulsa massacre of 1921? Is
Mm-hmm.
it going to feel like it was instrumentalized? Is it going to feel like it actually works? Because anytime you're mixing historical reality, especially around uh, uh, topics or histories that are still really raw, anytime you mix that with fantasy, the stakes are really high. True Blood did this on a really cornball shitty level of
Never
like,
saw it.
oh, it's horrible, don't watch it. But they try to tell us at certain points in the show that various historical personages were vampires,
Mm-hmm.
and it just sucks. I mean, it's done in a totally different way from this, but what it has in common is this imaginative leap that the viewer is expected to do, that this
Yeah.
fantasy world exists in a space of historical world. And I it's not that I think that it's impossible to do that well. It's just that now with this like clock tower, and I don't know, it needs to
Yeah.
work well, or people are going to feel like shittier than
It's harder. I think it's harder when you say, and this is the Battlestar Galactica problem, right? When you say that the paths that we share in our fantasy world, our fictional world, and the real world is different than you know it, right? George Washington didn't have wooden teeth; he had vampire teeth, because he was a
George Washington did
vampire.
not have wooden teeth.
Sorry, it's Abraham Lincoln, and And you know what I'm saying? I think it's harder for the audience when you want to say both things at the same time, that we live in the
Yeah.
same, our past is the same, but here are the differences you didn't know about. I think it's easier to do it with how the Watchmen did it, to say we're going to ground you in a shared past that's exactly the same. 1920s, everything about our two Earths histories is the same, right? Basically. Um, and then after that, things divulge, right? After that, obviously in the 80s of the Watchmen comics original story, we get those people, right, that don't exist in our real world. I think it's a lot easier to say there's a present timeline that's different than our current present than it is to say, because then you can do whatever you want, versus to say, like, try to make us think that, the past that is the same, like I said, Battlestar Galactica, where it's like, oh yeah, we made it with proto-humans. It's like, no, you didn't. You
Mhm.
didn't. Don't lie to
Yeah,
me.
but it's if you compare it to, for example, Man in the High Castle, um, what's different? It's not just speculative fiction. It's superhero sci-fi speculative fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, but I agree with you
I
though
just
that I agree with you that they really have to nail all the pieces, and I'm confident they will, because they had so long to get this right. It's this very short story. It's 9 episodes. I think if the only reason that they shouldn't be able to nail it is if for whatever reason they don't want to. You know what I mean? Um, it's different than saying, like, can they make it work over several seasons? I think, can they make it work for this season and have the season finale like be nice and tight and have all these 9 episodes work? I don't see any reason they shouldn't be able to do that.
So I hear you.
Yeah.
I think for me the caution would be like maybe the creator's just not interested in the pieces of the story that I'm interested
Well, it
in.
depends, right? There's some pieces that I
Mhm.
think are more important than others, so that'll be the thing, right?
Yeah.
Is
Yep.
are you interested in a piece that's not one of the main pieces, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be kind of I guess, the thing.
Yeah, and I just feel like it's so big right now. There's so many things going on
Mm-hmm.
that I'm not even sure. What were you gonna say?
I think that I think what that final scene implies is that there is a plot happening that doesn't necessarily connect um, with whatever went on in Tulsa in the 20s or Angela's family history or what have you. Like Lady True, I don't think gives a shit about any of that. That's my impression. So she's doing something, and that is a part of the plot. What I get the sense that they're trying to do is they're trying to overlap whatever that plot is with this like personal family history backstory, that does connect with Tulsa, and they're trying to, like draw out emotion from that connection. I feel like this is something that was very similar to what they did on Lost as well as on The Leftovers, like where there would be a plot and the plot wouldn't necessarily directly connect with say the main character's like family history or whatever, but the family history would kind of inform how they
Mm-hmm.
interact with what happens, and so it would like affect it even if it wasn't like the reason why it's happening or whatever. Anyway, that's the vague kind of thing I'm expecting from the show. Like I think they
Yeah, I'm
will.
expecting that. Yeah, I think one thing leads to the other is basically how Lindelof likes to do his stories, and it's not one central thing. It's all these other pieces come together, and then it becomes about one central thing at the end. We got to move the island or something. Like we got to turn on the clock tower, or we got to turn off the clock tower, or like whatever they're doing with the clock connects to Dr. Manhattan or something, or I feel like there is some impending doom that is related to the family history that has to do with the Tulsa thing through Will specifically and through her parents, like why they're dead. Like that's a mystery,
Oh
obviously.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's clearly a
Uh,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
so this whole thing of there's a conspiracy and I can't tell you, it'll blow your mind or whatever. I think that next to the Calvary stuff, right? Whatever they're planning long term, I think those two will go together somehow.
They seem less and less important by the episode, by the way.
Yeah, but the senator's still hanging out. So
Yeah,
Oh, the senator's up to something. I strongly suspect him.
yeah, I think the
yeah, but I think
Calvary
that,
have some big plan though. I
Oh, I
think
agree. I agree. But like, they seemed more central in the first couple episodes than they do now.
yeah.
yeah. Well,
Well,
should we
because
start?
the show has to give time for the next part of the plot, right? Which is not about them.
Right. Right.
True,
But it's
Dr.
not like
Manhattan.
they feel the need to like cut back to the cavalry every week.
Yeah, yeah,
It's sort of like we said what we had to say to set them up, and they'll come into play however they come into play. But I'm
yeah.
not convinced they matter that much. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I know I'm not saying they won't do anything that affects the plot, but I just feel like
That's what
it's
I
not
think.
really
I think
about
they'll
them.
do something that affects the plot. I don't think it's about them.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Whereas it seems like
Although
the
they're so
stuff in this
vain, it's
episode is
all like
like
the show's about them.
revealing who's who's behind some of the bigger plans of what is directing
Hmm.
the plot, and the cavalry will do something to mess something up or create chaos or whatever they're going to do. That's what it looks like to
Yeah,
me.
yeah, I agree. All right, you guys ready to get into the episode?
Yeah.
Sure, let's do it.
All right, everybody, get your plays ready if you're going to sync up with this for some Watchmen 104. Okay, you ready?
Yay, here we go.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, play. Previously on Watchmen. So this makes sense now.
Yeah,
That he was
definitely.
trying to catapult him into space, and they just skipped over the catapult part.
Yeah.
But the question is, where did he go? Oh, he
We
put
didn't
gas.
see the others fall back down though, so
Yeah, you're right. he did a thing with gas that he didn't do with them. I think.
Yeah, it seems like it doesn't quite add up.
Huh.
I agree. I think it's connected though.
Yeah. You're under a car.
Sick burn. Yeah, you guys talked about the tunnel last time and how did he get into the tunnel?
Mm-hmm. Choo-choo tunnel.
Oh boy.
It's always a tunnel.
Classic.
Yeah, this it's so strange to see
The
all
question is, why did the car come back where it was though?
Yeah, that's
All
very
right,
strange.
HBO.
HBO.
Here we go.
It's not TV. Here it goes. Oh boy.
Oh, egg. Watchmen egg yolk.
This is an eggy song.
It even is a similar type of song to the song that he used in The Leftovers.
Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah, this whole thing is so I mean, Lost did this so many times where you start and everything's fine, everything's happy, it's peaceful.
Out of context.
And then completely out of context, and then all of a sudden something crazy happens.
Yeah.
I felt a huge amount of pathos for these people, and then it was like, oh, it doesn't matter.
That's what he loves. He loves.
Yep.
Yeah. Is this yacht rock? Is this yacht country?
Yeah.
Does this count as yacht country?
Pretty close.
I think it's yacht country.
This is the designation I just learned. Yacht rock. Oh, this is so bad. I can't watch it.
Oh, those eggs are gone.
Those chickens are gonna be so mad.
But look, you know what else is gonna hatch? Love. This is what I love about storytelling, though, is you get this complete romance through all, mise scene, as they call it in French, and and you just get the whole story in 4 shots. You know everything about these people that's important.
Those people, that they're more happily married than anybody else.
Earth. Well, because in Oklahoma and they have eggs.
Yeah, I love this actress. I
thought she was great.
She's fantastic. She's in what is it called?
Big Little Lies.
Big Little Lies. And she's in something else. I think she's just she's a small part, but she's great.
Mm-hmm. They were putting together a puzzle of a Starry Night. It looks like.
Mm-hmm. Not just a Starry Night, but the Starry Night.
The Starry Night.
Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that they know who she is, because I didn't.
Yep, I love that.
Much more than a big clock, but what does it do? It tells time.
This character to me connects to now I'm blanking on his name.
She looks kind of like
a little more Vulcan, but yeah, I see they're cousins.
Oh yeah, okay. Sure.
Reminds me of I'm blanking on his name in Blade Runner.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, the main guy.
The ones who the one who no. I think you mean the one who designed the Nexuses. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Do you remember the name? It was like the something corporation.
Mm-hmm. Wayland.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Legacy. The baby just rang the doorbell with its baby thumb.
Yeah. I love how they didn't ask the question of who carried this baby to term, and how did you create this baby, and
extinct.
I did like this whole diatribe about legacy.
Mm-hmm.
This seems related to the whole story with Regina King's family.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's a thematic thing.
Yeah.
If I may.
Yeah.
Oh, Sooner, like Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah. This is a pretty intense.
I mean, Miracle Baby definitely connects with Lost.
It's like, yeah.
Yep.
As well as Leftovers.
Yeah.
And it's very Battlestar Galactica. It's like,
And
is this the couple? Is this the couple that wanted to adopt Claire's baby?
That's it. Oh my god!
Holy shit!
After they didn't get
Oh
the
my
baby they were
God.
expecting, they left California and moved to Oklahoma.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Get the fuck out. You're
Mhm.
scary and yeah.
And this whole thing about you have 3 minutes is completely arbitrary. Like he
Yep.
does this all the time in scenes.
No,
and
no,
it's,
no,
like,
no, but
It was
but
literally 3 minutes in Lost too. There's an
Yep.
episode called that.
you're not
3
wrong,
minutes.
but she's trying to get the title before the meteorite hits.
Oh, is that what's happening?
Yeah,
but
spoiler
why
alert,
not 4 minutes?
Because that would fundamentally change. Well, because that's not when the
It's gonna hit in 4
meteorite
minutes.
hit. It's gonna hit, and she already.
But they're not. She doesn't kick them out of the house 3 minutes from now.
No, but she owns the property.
Yeah, I
So,
know.
like,
I know.
once
You're
the
right.
thing hits, it's.
But why
gonna
didn't she come
fundamentally
2 minutes
change.
earlier and give him 5?
Why didn't she come a day earlier? I mean, yeah.
So that's my
Right.
She
point.
wants to come at the last minute. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's artificial drama. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Plus, she only has 1 hourglass, so.
And it only holds 3 minutes worth of hours.
3 minutes.
I mean,
worth
if
of
you're a
hours.
trillionaire, like $5 million is like nothing.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah.
They know that.
I love this line that's coming up.
But here's the thing: the amount of money plus the baby is what's that's the
Yeah,
whole.
yeah, clearly.
The baby's
I would-
worth
how about-
at least
how
a
about
cool
$5 million
mil.
You keep the baby. Oh, no.
At least.
I love this. Destroy
That was
the
great.
planet.
That was great. Yeah,
So Lindelof.
yeah.
Oh, you really thought I was gonna do that?
hmm
That's your fault.
Here's the joke, but also something
I
serious.
was like, what does this pen do? Oh, she
Yeah.
just uses
It writes on paper.
It does what pens do.
Yeah, it was timed out like very precisely, which is kind of absurd.
Dr. Manhattan
Wow.
made the lights flicker.
Oh, okay. I take your point more now. I forgot the meteor happened now. Yeah, that's fair. And maybe it's a thing where she didn't have that much lead time to know when the meteor was going to hit.
Yeah, well,
They could
since
say
we know-
that.
oh, that's her kid. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
Yeah. She was in one of the previous episodes getting newspapers, and I'm like, who is this random
Oh, that's
girl?
who that was.
Yeah, I was like, who's this random
Oh,
girl?
that's how we know that she's reclusive.
Good
Okay,
point.
all
Good
right.
point. Shit, I was just reading the transcript from that scene. Like, what the fuck are they talking about? Like,
I thought she was just a little
God. The
communist. She
scene-
just got
Oh, I
like-
get it now. Oh no, I didn't get it.
You don't get it.
I thought no, this transition I
So-
thought was something else, and now it's not.
So how much time passed there? That's my question. Right? Is it?
So,
I think this is a flashback.
there was a thing
Yeah,
on
I
Twitter
think
that
so.
said that that occurred the night of the chief's funeral, which doesn't make sense to me because it didn't actually happen at night. But anyway, that was tweeted out by Alan Sepinwall, so maybe that's true.
The night the chief's funeral, she went to go get the costume that night. But this would have been after all that.
Yeah, so then this shouldn't be at the same time.
Are you talking about this
Yeah.
scene here, or the scene at the farm?
Yeah, this scene should be forward from that because the funeral's already happened
Yeah.
in this scene.
But
Yeah.
what would-
I think
couldn't tell
that
from the
that dissolve
transition.
implied a time change. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought so too.
Yeah.
But they don't look. The kid and True don't really look older. I love that she just accidentally said she's gonna burn.
Yeah,
it,
I saw
and
that
she
coming.
Accidentally sets it on fire.
Older?
Yeah, that's a classic.
No, they don't
thing.
look older. Is what I'm saying. They look the same age when we see them later.
Yeah, but it's just a few days. I mean,
Yeah, but the dissolve makes it look like the land
I
that
think the-
Angela's restaurant is or bakery is on the farm.
oh yeah, I don't think it is though.
No, but that's
No, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. The cut like kind of implies that they're connected.
I think the cut was implying that that previous scene was in the past, and now we're catching back up.
Yeah.
And this is cool too. I didn't get this until later that she's completely lying here.
Yeah.
So she has a
Yeah.
pretense to break into
Yeah.
the place.
Mhm.
Yeah. I got that too, but I was right on the board with like, okay, no, break in. Like, let's get some answers. Do the
Uh-huh.
thing. I don't care. It's fine.
Yeah, it's sort of interesting that she's so intrigued to figure out what the voicemail is about that she'll break into this cultural center in the middle of the
It does
night.
seem like it isn't strictly necessary. Like, she could come
Hmm.
during the day.
Mhm.
I don't know if she's worried about being
But there would have been a
watched or.
line at the tree thing.
Oh, that's the problem.
Oh, she don't want to wait in line.
Well, and would have been people around. She's trying to do this in secret.
That's what
in
I was
secret.
thinking. Yeah.
Right.
Here's a robot Henry Louis King.
Yeah.
They give a surprising amount of information.
It's a lot of information, but that's what you get with Redfordations.
I guess so.
Oh God.
This whole acorn thing is crazy.
So
How do you
weird.
encode? How did you encode information to an acorn? Like, come
We
on.
encoded it.
I think there's probably like a computer chip in it.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Bluetooth acorn.
Yeah, exactly.
Ancestry, you like
That's
that pun?
great.
Classic.
They really think of all the details.
They do.
Indeed.
I find it impressive, actually. I mean, if it were real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the fake version is moderately impressive.
Yeah, but if it actually worked,
Yeah,
like this
yeah.
functionality, as opposed to the reality of visiting a museum where all the digitized shit just is broken.
Right.
It all just has a little sign on it that says temporarily out of order. Tap your father.
Tap
But I
your
didn't understand
father.
that. I didn't understand why it started with him and how this whole thing worked. And
Yeah, that seems a little arbitrary. But I guess that's where like the new stuff came from. That line.
Yeah, I think like so it's we've just the voicemail is we've just discovered an additional branch to your family tree. Do you want to know what it is? If so, come in. So I don't know. Maybe
so the branch is from the
Will-
grandfather. The grandfather's
Yeah. Yeah.
Presumably because she went there to look up Will, and then that like tripped some connection to her. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, she put his DNA in the
Right,
database.
Right.
So this was actually news. Some of this stuff they say here, like it
Mhm.
wasn't clear.
Mhm.
The thing that really surprised me was that he was like a cop. I mean, not this guy, but the grandfather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will was a cop. I missed that.
Yeah,
In
they're
New
gonna
York.
say that.
Oh.
I feel like he was part of the Watchmen or something.
Oh.
Because didn't they say in the 80s?
Yeah, that's maybe. That seems true. Although I feel like it should have been a little earlier. I feel like it should have been like the 60s.
Disappeared into what? I kind of feel like this emotionality in this scene is a little unearned. Like, is she really?
But this is to me the punch why they do it because of the punchline. Like it's a red herring that she's being that sentimental because she actually
Right,
like
okay.
you know what I mean? I feel like that's a thing I've seen before where like
Yeah.
they're doing that thing and you're completely right that it doesn't feel earned, but it's because the punchline is like this other
Right.
emotion.
It isn't like you blew my life up and now I have to find you.
Yeah,
It's like, leave me
exactly.
the fuck alone. Yeah. Okay, I get it.
That was great.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Huh. So, do you have a theory about these pills?
Maybe they keep him alive or keep him strong or some supernatural sci-fi thing or I don't know. I don't have a good theory.
A theory I saw was that like they let you like relive memories from the past.
What?
There's kind of a hint of that later in the episode, with Lady True's daughter.
Mm.
Is her
She has
comment?
this
Did they
dream.
take? Is her comment
Did they
take
take
anything?
anything?
Is that Does she see the pills? Is that?
I don't think she saw the pills.
Yeah,
like
I
a,
don't
like
either.
a pun or something.
It was a weird angle, though. You couldn't really tell, but I don't think she saw him.
Angela. Like is that? Mm. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess this did sort of ruin her moment that she's having, because
Well-
previously she's in the booth, like
Yeah.
telling this whole thing.
It's super weird. The other thing that's weird is Angela doesn't know this car fell from the sky in this scene. She just thinks it's here. It's not until
Right.
later that she realizes it fell from the sky. So there's like two weird misunderstandings
But why
happening.
should she be surprised by that? She saw it disappear into the sky. She heard the loud ass.
Yeah, she
sound
should be
of
surprised it
dispatch.
fell out of
Wow.
the sky. I think she should. Several days later or whatever it is.
Well, okay. But what did she think the sound was, if not? Wow.
Well, that's the question: is why does she think her car is blown to pieces, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But they're not commenting on that, so it's hard to know.
The very short blurb that HBO provides about the show includes the fact that Angela, it's so short, it's like 4 sentences, and one of them is that Angela is a wife and mother of 3. It's like, why?
To humanize her.
I guess.
Only women can be human if they have children.
Where were you?
Okay, so this is the same day of the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that means it is the same day.
Yeah.
The
So it's been all one day. This has been
the
like
house
2
thing
days.
happened. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, at the end they say there's going to be something happening in 3 days, so it really makes me think that that's going to be like the end of the season.
So you think the meteor happened this same night?
Yeah, well, that's what Alan Sepinwall suggested. Like, if
Who
she's
is he?
saying
He's
the
just a film
funeral was
critic, right?
today,
Isn't he? Just
well,
a
he
film-
said he got it from reliable sources, and he knows people, so I feel like he could have heard
Alright.
it from someone who actually works on the show, like David Lindelof, for example. I don't know for sure, but that was on Twitter, so whatever.
I think it makes sense. Otherwise, the characters would be asking, "Hey, what about that meteor the other day?" So
Yeah.
I think it
wonder
makes
if
sense
they-
that.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna tell us, if it's gonna be like in the news,
Mhm. Unless, hey, the news could be owned by True, so she could
Ooh,
kill the story.
the true news.
True news is fake news.
Now you're just quoting what they're gonna say later.
If it's not true news, it's fake news.
What are they making here? Is this the world's runniest omelet?
It's an egg batter
It's
soup.
egg in a bowl.
And batter soup. Ugh.
You don't like egg in a bowl?
Ugh.
I think they're making pancakes.
That's not. Have you ever made pancakes?
Clearly not. I'm doing it wrong. I didn't put enough eggs in a bowl.
That's what you do.
He just took a scoop out and put it in a pan. He's got to be making pancakes.
Yeah, it should be pancakes.
Y'all really think the only thing you can make with a scoop in a bowl is pancakes? There's no
Prove
fruit
us
in
wrong.
that.
breakfast.
Prove us wrong. Name 10 things you can make a scoop in a bowl with eggs.
He's making
Go.
something between a vichyssoise and a frittata.
Oh, now you're making up
Fishy
words.
swaz? Wow. Wow.
I love this. I love this so
This
much.
is so intense.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I love like
Yeah.
heaven's make believe.
Yeah, and I feel like this connects with the later thing where he's like, I don't like lying to people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
Yeah, good point. And I thought that was a great way to explain it. Like, hey, you weren't anywhere before you were born. You're just there again. Eggs are done. Yeah, maybe it is an omelet. That's why he scooped it, I guess. Little mini omelets.
Waffle.
Waffles! After all that, it was
Oh,
waffles.
That's basically a pancake.
Waffles are basically, yeah.
Is that what paleo waffles look like?
They do use more eggs, though, I think. Am I wrong?
I don't know.
I feel like
know.
waffles use
I
more
don't know,
eggs than pancakes.
but I love
too.
that. And even as an atheist, I was watching that scene just like uncomfortable. Really? This is what you're telling us?
I actually watched it also as an atheist, very comfortable because I thought it was a great way to
Very
explain. Great way to explain it that wasn't like too harsh. It was direct, but it wasn't too harsh, and it wasn't. It's just and it wasn't like I don't know. I thought like if you tell a kid Santa's not real, whatever, and if they believed it forever, that can be really hard on them. But like, I felt like he got it at a good moment where like this is the
Sure.
time to tell them heaven isn't real.
Sure. But what about unknowability? Also, what about these squids?
Do
Talk
the
about
squids
unknowability.
matter?
Also,
That's a question.
Is this a world where digital imaging doesn't exist?
Well, I wondered about. I was curious. About
Maybe he's just
that.
old school.
Well, plus the scene's better in the red room. Come on.
Yeah, clearly.
it is.
It's so much more dramatic. Yeah, it's a good illustration of like
It's
old
like-
technology was just more cinematic.
It's
Mhm.
like a Quonset hut in an underground bunker in
yeah.
Angela's backyard.
No, this is his house.
Yeah.
So but okay. I guess they just cut the part where she transits. To
Yeah,
space.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just cut straight to she's there.
All right.
He better not be
Who's
living
this?
in her backyard.
I can't wait for that reveal.
Who's his ex gonna be?
Get out of my backyard.
That's a good question.
We'll find out. Do you think we've met her already?
I was hoping his ex would be a man because the way they were dancing around pronouns for a couple
Ah.
sentences, and then he was like she, and I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Retro, but whatever.
I love this. He was a white man in Oklahoma.
So
Yeah, it's
I,
an interesting
I
comment
need
because
to-
I'm not sure what it means.
I need to talk about that. Yeah, the fact that he's a racist, but what does that mean to the fact he was like your kid's godfather, maybe, or whatever, and like your family friend, and like what does that mean? How do you just sum up your
Also,
entire
you're a
relationship
white
with
man in
him?
Oklahoma. Like,
Yeah.
does that really tell the whole story? I don't know.
Yeah,
It seems like the kind of line a white person writes. So we're like, well, we're all racist, but also this guy had a clan. around
Yeah, this
his
is a bit more than
closet, and
that.
I love that
also-
line though. This is classic Lindelof Shuffle though, giving us all the
Definitely.
options
Yeah,
of what it might be. It'll be none of these.
of course, of course.
That's why they get to say it because
I told you all the options.
Yep. And this only happens in TV where like you stand there while the person who lives there leaves. It just
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
happens in real life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stay in your shot till the camera says cut. So this was cool. This is another WTF scene.
This
Oh
is
my
so
God,
weird. Like
yeah.
Luke Man is the strangest thing in this
Man.
episode to me.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know what they're doing or why this matters, but I think
Yeah.
that's a great superpower to have. Like I
Well,
squirt oil
it's a
on
dumb
myself.
superpower because you can only do it in a very specific circumstance.
That's what I mean by great. Like
Yeah.
it's
He's
so
really fast,
limited.
though.
He's
And then he
normal
has
speed.
like oil in holsters. Like,
I
Well,
know,
the
and
thing-
it looks so shitty too.
Well, the thing is like this was his plan. Like it wasn't like, oh, I'll improvise and escape. It's like, no. This is my power. Like
Yeah.
this is what I plan to do if someone comes after me. I gotta run to a fucking sewer hole.
Sewer hole. It's like he's watching her trying to figure out how to be a badass, like how to be
Something.
unmasked.
like, is this someone we
vigilante.
know in disguise, or is this a new character?
I think this is
who's
a new
gonna play some
character.
small role. Okay.
I think it's not a character.
Oh, you have to take the belt off. Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because
He,
the belt won't
which
fit.
is shitty though. He's got to leave behind his gear and his
all his
evidence.
stuff. Yeah.
But it was so weird and
It's
perfect.
so ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I really enjoyed that.
This fucking guy.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know it's
Yeah,
like
so-
too obvious, so maybe like he won't be up to something, but I feel
He's
like at the
so
very
up to
least there's a
something.
fake out with this guy,
Yeah.
and especially the fact that he just uses her name brazenly. That
Am I
seems a little
supposed to know who
suspicious
you
to me.
is?
Well,
Yeah, I don't know about his motivations. I don't know about Blake's motivations.
I got
I
confused
don't.
about that line. Like, try not to get kidnapped. Like, in what sense did he get
Well, he got
kidnapped?
grabbed by the guy and like,
yeah.
Does that
that's
count
what-
as a
I'm gonna kill him.
kidnapping?
Well,
Okay. All
well,
right.
it was a
Seems-
single location kidnapping. It didn't.
Okay. Okay.
She should have
Yeah.
said like, try not to get taken hostage. is what she
those
should've
little oil.
Yeah, exactly.
those little
Maybe they
oil
thought that was too
things.
clunky.
said.
Ew, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Red Scare Pirate Jenny's show.
the thing to remember with the senator is he's the one who brought Blake in. So, yeah, if he's
That is true. That is true. But he might have done that for a reason that doesn't necessarily implicate her. But we'll see.
Ooh, man. This is classic.
Classic, yeah. But what's weird is why isn't there already someone in the police chain of command who would take this job? That's what I
Yeah.
was thinking.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I agree. That's a bit strange, but
Yeah, what's starting to happen here is like, Angela gets called by Will to go to the tree. She's the first one on the scene and she is not forthcoming about what happens, right? In the earlier episode. And so now here we are.
Mhm.
oh,
Blake's
she's the
come
one who
in.
says the thing about him being a cop. Okay.
Ah.
I thought that was in the family tree scene. But it was in
Oh,
this
you're right. I
scene.
thought it was too.
Ah. A cop
40s
in
and
New York
50s.
City in the 40s and 50s.
That makes more sense.
Ah, okay.
So Blake's parents would have been in New York City in the 40s and 50s, right? The comedian
Yeah.
and the Silk Spectre.
Yeah, I think
So I wonder if she actually knows who William Reeves is. Will we find out that she knows him? Oh, this kid.
PD.
Oh, a whisper scene.
Secrets.
You gotta love a whisper
Secrets.
Mm-hmm. What was the lead? That somebody had a airplane nearby?
Oh, I guess.
That it was picked up by a giant magnet. A
Thermodynamic miracle. There we
it
go.
is. Your ex. This episode's all about exes.
Hey, if you don't like the story, write your
She
own.
means
does
Dr.
she-
Manhattan, I guess.
Does she not know that Blake is talking about Dr. Manhattan?
I don't think she knows who she is until
I think she
Petey
doesn't
says
know.
that she used to be Silk Spectre,
Yeah, I think that's when
the
she
second
finds
Silk
out.
Spectre.
Yeah, I was confused by that. So they were both Silk Spectre?
Silk
I think-
Spectre.
yeah.
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 There were two.
People who wear, yeah, I like this little armchair psychology here.
Yeah. I like that it applies to her, so she knows what she's
Mhm.
talking about.
Right.
But she says it in like a condescending way.
From the paint, no. From people who would.
Yeah, painful kill. I love that.
Oh,
What's
boy.
the nun thing?
'Cause
You
she's
need to
dressed
explain
like
the
a
nun thing.
Yeah.
So this was a weird line I want to talk about.
My name is Patrice.
So all the yahoos is running around with, I think that's her first clue.
Mm-hmm.
But the way he describes this rape was weird to me.
Nerd. It's full of historical inaccuracies.
Okay, sexual assault in the 40s.
Mm-hmm.
But then he said tried to rape her.
Yeah, so I looked up what happened because I had forgotten. It is in the movie. And this is in the comics, so make of it what you will. Yeah, he tried to rape her, but then they had a consensual relationship after. That's the
Uh,
story in the comic. So she wasn't conceived from the rape.
A man wrote that story.
That's,
but what
indeed.
I'm confused about is the trauma is completely different. I would imagine if you're a child of rape versus if your dad was a sexual assaulter, but didn't.
Well, there's a lot wrong with that because, like, we're really that's the only thing about you. That's the one single thing you can point to that drove you to do what you do now. Like, surely you have some other incidents in your life that are
Mhm.
relevant to what shaped you, because that actually happened before you were even born.
Well, but she didn't find out about it later, right? So finding out your
Right.
dad is not the man you thought he was could be very traumatic. But it's weird to be like, but yeah, I don't know. The details there are weird.
Yeah, and I just, they've hinted at much more going on with her in terms of the people she used to be involved with.
Sure.
And, you know, I just,
Like that's why
I
she
hate when,
started putting on the mask, but then other things happened too.
right, right. That's cute.
Thanks, Selma.
Aw.
So this was
Like
the lead.
I love this kid.
she's great, and she's completely not a real human being. Like she just looks like someone engineered her, which I think might be her story.
Yeah, I think Wes Anderson engineered her.
She's a total Wes Anderson character.
Wes Anderson characters are all like artificial
Yeah,
beings.
not quite human.
Well, they start in ponds. Wes Anderson
Right.
canoes out onto a
Right.
pond and
Puts him in a
pulls them up.
centrifuge.
Puts him in an
Yeah.
incubator centrifuge. Yeah.
Mhm. While listening to Belle and Sebastian. That's the difference. It's all about what you're listening to while the centrifuge is going. That
I
determines
see.
the personality.
I guess this next line. No, first wonder of the new world.
That's great.
Like, yeah, what are you gonna do? And this next line.
What does
Oops,
it do?
that town's getting nuked.
Yeah.
You don't say that unless the town's gonna get
Oh,
nuked.
what does it do? Oh boy.
Classic.
What does
That's
it do?
like the compass.
What does it
like,
do?
What does
It's-
it do? It points north.
It tells
Yep.
time and also protects anyone in it from a direct nuclear blast. Of
Exactly.
activity.
It tells
Nah.
how much time we have left before a nuke hits.
It provides an ecosystem that can
Mhm.
withstand the apocalypse. Like, I totally want to live in this place.
This Vietnam angle is really cool too.
Does she apologize to her for the humidity because she's like dressed in head to toe uncomfortable clothing that would be
I presume.
totally
No, I think she
Impractical for
apologizes
Oklahoma.
as a segue to exclaim about her Vietnamese.
That's also
Right,
true.
What a coincidence. Is it a coincidence?
Uh,
Are you connected to the death of her parents somehow?
like Agent, what's her name? She has no business investigating this. This is beneath her. This has nothing to do with the chief's death. I don't even know why she's in this scene except it's good. But like this whole thing that she's going along with this investigation of a stolen car makes no sense to me.
Well, I think she knows that Angela's hiding something, and that if Angela's hiding something, it's probably relevant.
Yeah, I think she thinks it's connected to the chief's death through Angela. That's my guess.
That's a leap though on her part. But I guess what else does she have to do?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Here we go.
You know, here's the thing, though. There's no way Blake doesn't speak Vietnamese. As soon as this happens, it's
Yeah,
like, he speaks
I thought that too. I thought I mean, come on, Vietnam's a country, right? I mean,
A
part of the
state.
state. I mean,
Yeah.
of course, it's a country. But yeah, I thought that too. Like, it's a classic thing if we think she doesn't hear, but.
Vietnamese.
So the fact that they have a statue of the old version makes me think they're
Really
still in
great
contact with
man.
him, or they know what's going on with him somehow.
Mm-hmm.
The old version?
Well, but the
Yeah.
question is like he's only been gone for a little while, so he was old a little while.
Okay. So maybe it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I was thinking he had like disappeared for like 20 years.
But she did say "is" with an underline.
True.
He looks like-
No offense, Jeremy.
Yeah, no offense, Jeremy. Jeez.
Oh boy.
So now we get
Cut
this.
to lake babies.
Now, do you guys have any idea of why this is?
No.
Like, how is
No.
he fishing for babies?
Other than Dr. Manhattan is doing this for some reason, I have no idea.
And
He
is
does
that,
say
is
he
that-
didn't
right, 'cause
create them.
He says he didn't create them, right?
but why would there be a pond full of ink? You know,
I don't know.
Yeah.
and is he throwing away like he wants one boy and one girl? And he's
Yeah,
like,
that's what I assumed. Ugh, God, this is. Ugh.
yeah, it's pretty bad to watch.
Why does he wake it up just to throw
They're
it
so
in?
floppy.
Because they're not real and they don't count.
Oh.
I mean, that's why he's doing that. I mean, yeah.
It
I,
is
I
actually-
find it weird. I wonder how the conversations they had about this. It's because it's obviously abortion and fetal protections, all that is very sensitive topics. And
Oh, is that some of the footage that I heard about that was stolen from Planned Parenthood?
what was that? This footage, yes.
This is what they do with.
This
the,
is why
the
we need to
fetal
defund
tissue?
Planned Parenthood.
This is all funded by Planned Parenthood. This entire operation.
Oh man, you guys! Just as you were
Yikes.
getting your Slankets endorsement or
I
whatever,
know.
sponsorship.
I never knew that they could like grow British servants in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
That's like super.
You
cool.
make a really good point. I just never thought about until you said that exact word. Why are they British?
Yeah, that's something that bothered me. I'm like, do they know Jeremy Irons is British in real life? Like, I just don't.
They picked up
understand
on
how
his
they could
accent from.
forget
Is it
that.
Adrian Veidt not British?
Adrian Veidt, I don't think is British. I think he's supposed to be American. As far as I know.
can imagine Jeremy Irons saying, "I'm not doing an American accent. If you want me, you get my British voice."
Yeah, and maybe they
But
just
he's better
ran with
that he's
that.
better that way because it makes him seem
Yeah.
smarter. Because the British accent is
He doesn't
loftier.
sound totally British though. I almost wonder if this is him doing an American accent.
He toned it down a bit.
Yeah, I do feel like he's toning it down a bit from the full on version,
But yeah,
which makes
it's
me think he
supposed
is
to
like
evoke,
ostensibly doing one, but.
It's supposed to evoke, a Down Abbey kind of.
But
thing.
yeah, his character was credited as like Lord of a country manor or something, so it's
Yeah.
clearly like meant to be quasi British.
But yeah, I mean, how do they get accents when the only frame of reference for language is him?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just spontaneously learn how to talk. Like it's really weird.
Yeah, they pick it up from. I guess they listen from him.
They learn everything from him. Like
Well, there's some stuff built in. Obviously,
okay,
they're clearly engineered some way.
yeah. I love that he has to take him on a horse. It's all
Yeah,
very
but why
steampunk.
doesn't-
This stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Why doesn't he move the centrifuge to the castle? Do they have to be centrifuged right away?
Do you think if he could move the centrifuge to the castle, he would lay the centrifuge where it was?
I guess.
Classic lost question.
Yeah.
While I may be your master, I am most definitely not your
Yeah,
master.
that's definitely a clue there.
Your
about
Does he
Maker
what's
tell
going on.
all of them
is-
this, or is this just exposition because we're watching?
It feels like exposition to me.
I wonder how many he can fit in a centrifuge.
But it's
at
actually a
once.
reveal that he
There's just
murdered
two.
all the other
There's
ones.
only room for two.
Because earlier he's got. I mean, there's so many.
He
I
just
mean, I
made
guess
2
he's
at a
got a lot of
time.
time
It
on
did
his
take it.
hands.
It took like 30. It's like microwave
true.
popcorn.
Yeah,
There's
but
like
how
one
long
setting.
did it take to ride back and forth to the centrifuge?
Maybe
I mean,
makes him walk.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. This was
I'm
weird.
honestly, I'm just confused about the connection between the last time we saw him when he's like writing the letter to the warden in this like highfalutin language,
Mhm.
and like this, where it's like,
Yeah,
and then he massacred all of the servants. Like,
Did he just get mad because the last experiment failed?
or
and he
did the
just-
warden do this? Like,
No, he
like,
said he did it.
he says he did it.
I had
Okay.
a rough night.
Well, you're right. He didn't say he did it. He just had a rough night. But I assumed he's taking credit.
Yeah. I assumed he did it too,
And
but
here
I'm
we
just
go
saying,
with
like,
the horseshoe.
yeah, it's Chekhov's horseshoe. Clearly, like that's gonna come into play later.
Yeah.
And why
I
do
don't
they
need it
always
yet.
make the same cake? Who teaches them how to make that cake?
That's the only thing he's eaten, right? Has he eaten anything else?
I'm assuming that comes from whoever is in charge of this prison. They have some kind of
Oh.
program.
They send him a cake?
Yeah, you get a cake every day, and they sing
I
happy
always
birthday
assumed-
every day, or for he's a jolly good fellow every day.
Yeah, but I always assumed that they made the cake. But
Yeah, I think they make the cake, but
I
I
think
guess
they make
it's
the
like
cake.
it's supposed to be his birthday every day, right? It's like a Groundhog Day.
Anniversary.
Right, it is. Yeah.
This is interesting.
Yeah, it's very strange. So I guess
assume he
he
built
killed them so he
this.
could launch them. Yeah, you would think so. It seems like something he could have built. It's just like wood and metal.
4
I
years.
wonder if the gas that he put
Okay, it's
into
been
the
4
other one,
years.
the gas that he put into the other one was like gas from maybe like outside of the barrier, and he was trying to see if he went out of the barrier, could he survive? And then it killed
Yeah.
that one, so he was mad. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. Because that is what would happen if you went into space, right? Or a non-oxygenated atmosphere.
Yeah.
You'd
Right.
freeze like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
I feel like these servant actors are great. They're really
Yeah.
well suited for these parts.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
They do a lot with a little.
Mm-hmm.
So if he gets the buffalo hide, then he can make himself a suit, catapult himself off of this planet
And back to
into
Earth.
outer space.
I don't know. I don't
I mean,
know
getting
quite
into outer
what the plan
space
is.
is not the whole way down.
Yeah, I feel like he needs to figure out the barrier, but maybe the warden keeps him from leaving on the land too far. Maybe that's a thing,
Yeah,
and so he can only go up.
could be. Yeah, he's got to like go over it. It's like the
But it's
Sonic
very
fence
much
or
lost
something.
in being trapped on the island and
Yep.
want to go home. And
Yep.
mother said we can't hurt each other.
God.
Me and my sister
I
were
can't
talking about
believe
this
she's
book
about
the
to
other day.
spoil this book.
I know.
It's a huge spoiler.
Huge spoiler. It's not really a plot book, though.
Wow. Fair enough.
This guy's so chill.
But there's no way he hasn't read this book before.
What makes you say that?
It's a very old book.
Have you read all the old books?
Everybody's
I've read all the
books.
old
That's why they're
books.
old.
But Things Fall Apart is a famous old book, and I feel like there's just I don't know. I just feel like he would have read that before. I don't know.
I mean, I've read it, but
I guess that's why I felt like he would have read it because I've
because
read it,
you've read it, yeah.
and I don't read a lot.
Yeah. This was nice as a reminder of exactly what did happen.
Yeah, and it was nice to hear it from his perspective that yeah, it was weird.
Right.
I wonder if Blake knew that he was lying.
She
Because
knows
it would be
everything.
interesting if he hates lying, but he's actually really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, it does seem like Blake knows everything.
There's probably a reason he hates lying, related to the fact he probably did it a lot and was good at it.
Oh yeah, you don't think it's just like the
Mm.
same reason that a lot of people hate?
Yeah, there's this thing about an accident here that is suggesting some
Yeah.
kind of backstory that they'll
Mhm.
come back to later,
Does it have to
presumably.
do with Vietnam?
Oh, not the lie. Don't tell me there was something that happened and they had to come back
Oh
to the
no, not the
world
lie. We
with
have
a
to
lie.
lie.
We gotta lie. One lie to rule them all.
I think she wants to help you. Why? Yeah, but just because she wants to find the old man doesn't mean that she wants to.
She's
help.
got nothing to do, but she's got no reason to find him.
I mean, to find out information, she thinks he might have killed the chief, so she is there to investigate that. So I think it would make sense for her to track him down.
But Blake doesn't know that.
I think she suspects
Why?
because
of the
she saw the wheelchair tracks.
But she doesn't know Will was in a wheelchair.
No, but
She knows that he's.
she could
really
know he's old, and she does suggest that.
This scene is cold.
Okay, we can talk about it after the thing because I don't
This
think
is
it really
cold.
connects. So I'm assuming this daughter is engineered too, or something, the same way the baby that she gave at the beginning was.
Oh.
Well, but then I think there's something extra going on because she's like, I've got memories of a past life.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My feet still hurt. That was a great line. Oh, that's what made me think that she's her clone,
Oh.
and it was her memories she has.
Oh.
That's good.
The
I
memories
like
are part of the
that.
cloning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good theory.
That is a memory. Like that's her remembering what she's saying to me when she
Mhm.
looks down. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet clone.
Good. No.
I've done enough walking in my life.
I won't
you
walk
can
again
remember.
today.
Okay.
I'm all out of walking. That line that she says earlier about the clock that it tells time, I feel like they're gonna come back to that, and she's gonna be like, "I didn't tell you what it tells time to do.
Yeah, of course.
It tells time to go forwards. It tells time to go backwards."
Yeah.
Oh, that's so clever.
Yeah,
God,
they
you've
could
thought of
say
everything,
that.
Claude.
I try. I've read all the books, all the old ones. I thought that was a nice reveal that he's in the room with her, change of
Yeah.
perspective.
We knew they were connected from the earlier scene, but
Their passive aggressive exposition of writers writing about writing.
Yeah.
so this makes me think the pills are gonna like give her memories or something.
Yeah. As soon as you said that, I was like, yeah, she's gonna take a pill and remember what? Her parents or something? Or
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Oh, I bet the ex is gonna come back and say that they, I can't figure out what these pills do, so she's gonna take one just to figure it out.
That'd be crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, what's this deal?
Yeah.
Not only my aunt.
Yeah, so
I'm
this is
fucked.
where like the personal stakes versus the plot became clear to me.
My feet are just fine.
Yeah.
And
As that
knew
walk
to
around.
walk away without
Yeah.
a wheelchair.
Man, it's easy
Yeah.
to walk.
Man, walking so easy for me. Look at me walking. Oh, by the way, Locke wheelchair walking.
Oh,
First
yeah,
type in
good
the
point.
video.
Good point.
I've never seen this before. 3 days. Always threes. 3
Mhm.
minutes, 3 days.
3 women.
What has he done? Why did he betray her?
I
don't
guess he
quite
killed
know
her
what that
parents or
means.
something.
You think that's
what
what
else
it
could
was?
it be? I don't know.
Okay.
What's the worst thing? Like he ate them or something for power? I don't know.
hate them. Oh.
I ate your pet. You hate them? No, I ate them.
They're French.
So it was weird when he says TikTok. Now, obviously, he's talking about the
Yeah.
clock, it goes back to the Calvary thing, though. So it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. It also reminds me of the countdown that the
Could
show
they be
starts
manipulating the
with.
cavalry like secretly?
To do what though?
Yes.
Well, I don't know what, but I'm just saying because of that watch time. I don't know. It's a vague thing, but
Oh, because they're stealing
since they
the
have this big
batteries,
plan,
the
yeah,
ones
yeah,
that
yeah. And you
Like
know, on the
maybe they
video,
want
they
the
were like
Calvary.
TikTok, TikTok, and he wasn't there for the video, right? So like,
Well, but it's one of those things that like it 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 doesn't have to connect. It just seems like it
no,
could.
I agree. It could just be a thematic thing. It doesn't
Yeah,
necessarily
because he
mean
is looking at a
like
giant clock, and they are
right,
obviously are counting down to something.
they are counting
right.
down.
But I think it'd be interesting if if they're helping the cavalry engineer like an attack that'll give them some benefit somehow. Um,
But I feel like the cavalry is their like smoke screen because they're far more powerful than some redneck white supremacist
No,
group.
no, no. I'm
yeah.
saying like only as a part of their plan. Like they have manipulated the
Mhm.
cavalry to do X, and at the same time, you know, I'm not saying
Yeah, but
like
is
that's
it
their
like
whole plan.
misdirection or
Yeah.
something?
It could be, yeah, it could just be a distraction. But
Yeah.
I'm just throwing the idea that maybe they're like secretly, you know.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. It reminds me of the of Dr. Lube or whatever his name is, where it's like, are you
Dr. Lube.
actually important or are you just another piece of this world that sort of like serves to distract the main characters? Because this always happens in TV and movies where it's like you only see the things that are unfolding that
Mhm.
matter to where the story is going. You're not like watching Angela pick up her dry cleaning or whatever, unless picking up her dry cleaning results in something that moves the plot forward, right?
Yeah.
But the cavalry, like Dr. Lube, it may just be some thing that's happening.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. It doesn't have to be. I'm just like floating the possibility since like they're revealed to be they have a plan. Clearly that plan is central to the plot.
Mhm.
And so I'm just trying to draw the threads together, but it is 100% possible that the cavalry is just doing their own thing and it'll be a separate thing that interacts with whatever they're doing. Yeah,
Right.
100% possible. Okay, so I just looked up the transcript. So when Angela's talking to Jean Smart, I don't remember her character's name. She says, she's talking about Will. She says he has to be 100 years old by now, and you know how 100-year-olds tend to get around wheelchairs. It seems like a clear indication that she thinks he's connected with the chief's murder, which is what she's investigating. So, what do you say?
Okay. That was the scene when she's in the chief's office.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I think
That's when
Blake
it would have to be.
is
But she seemed.
very suspicious of Angela. I think that's pretty clear. I think she knows.
They found the prints in the
that-
car that appeared. It's
Mhm.
this guy's prints.
But here's the
She
thing.
knows about the wheelchair tracks. Like, I think she's. I
Why
think that-
the one group of people she's not looking at is the cavalry, which is the name, which should be the main
True.
suspects. And so that's what's weird is like,
No, she
I
doesn't
mean,
believe it's
doing the right
cavalry.
thing. Will has something to do with it, but I feel like she's not being a real person in the scene in the plot of like, it'd be different if like they came to her and said, "Hey, we shook down all the white supremacists in Nixonville and came up empty-handed." And she's like, "Well, I have zero leads. Now I have to follow this Will thing." And I feel like they didn't really nail that. So it's just like it seems like she's putting all her chips in this basket, which is the thing to do. But I'm just not convinced why she's so convinced that this is the only way to solve this thing.
So
And
I don't
she's
know
doing
why
it in a,
she. Sorry.
I was gonna say she's doing it in this like sort of friendly way, right? Like she's keeping Angela close, ingratiating herself a bit, not making it too adversarial, not like she's not like I'm gonna bring you in and interrogate you. And the other weird thing is like what I would have wanted to see maybe is like when she sees the car and she sees it's a certain type of tire tread on that on Angela's car, and then she goes, "Yeah, that tire tread was at the chief's murder scene." Because
Well, I
it
think
would
she
have
knows
been.
that already because she knows Angela found him. Isn't that like that's the official story?
Oh, I didn't think Angela found. I didn't think she knew Angela found him.
She called it in, didn't she? I mean, isn't that how?
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot how that happened.
I thought
Um,
I thought she called it
Hmm.
in. I didn't think she kept it a secret.
Oh,
That
is
she
so is the story that she just got a random phone call?
Yeah, that was the story. Like she got a
Okay,
call, she went out,
and
the
then she
chief
went
was there.
out
She doesn't
there.
mention
But that
Will,
was weird because the
but she
husband
takes
said, but
Will.
the husband said that that's not what she told Blake. That's not what he told Blake.
He didn't
yeah.
tell Blake about Will.
Well, that
I
whole
don't
line
think that's
he
what
said was a
happened.
lie.
I don't think that's what happens. I think she goes out there, sees the body, and then leaves, and then gets a
Yes,
call
that's what
and
I think
pretends
happens.
that she didn't
Yes,
already know.
that's what I think happens. Yep.
That's
Yeah.
what happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
I
that's
thought she
why it
called.
was surprising to me that the reveal
Wait,
wasn't
how did they find
Blake.
out then?
I don't think I don't know, but
Okay.
she acts like she did not already know,
Okay.
Exactly. That's what my memory was. I thought
Okay.
she was pretending she
which
had
I
no
think is
clue.
very suspicious. And maybe Blake has a sense about that
Well, that's
her
why I was thinking
colleagues didn't
like
notice.
when she said they found tracks, right? I thought it was, oh, we found your car at the scene. We're implicating you at the crime scene, but it's like, no, we found wheelchair tracks. Okay, so that's why I was like, why is she so adamant? So that anyway, that's what my point was. I would have thought like when the car falls from the sky and she sees that car has the same tires as the tires they found in the crime scene. Then she could say, "Oh, okay, Angela is involved with this, and she might lead me to the man who was an old man who had his fingerprints in her car, who was probably in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
It's a minor thing. I just feel like she's too convinced by half that like this is what she should be doing.
I, so I am additionally curious about that because I'm trying to understand why the senator brought her in on this. Like, why did,
Yeah.
I kind of think that in the scene uh, where they meet and the senator asks her to go down there and investigate this, he says something about they think the Seventh Cavalry did it, but I don't think that. Basically, um, I don't know, but for some reason I have that in mind.
I think she says something like that briefly. But then
So
again,
like
I
right
thought
off the
Angela called
bat,
it in, so who
doesn't
knows what my
think
memory
that
is
it
worth.
was the cavalry.
But yeah, I thought there was some line along those lines. I'm
Along the
going
lines
through
of
the
what?
transcripts here of like I don't really believe it's the cavalry.
Hmm. That's what the senator said.
He's looking. He's looking at the
No,
transcript.
sorry, maybe I missed what you were talking
Blake.
about. Yeah, that's who I thought said it.
Yeah,
No.
but
Yeah, she's.
I just it's very mysterious the two of them and what they think and why they're involved in this and
Mhm.
where they're going. So, I mean, I think there's a lot that's up in the air. So we'll just have to see.
Like that car.
Not anymore. Wait, your chief was murdered by the Seventh Cavalry. You have to consider other possibilities, right? Um, hmm.
Yeah, he says so she says that she considers other possibilities because there's wheelchair tracks and they missed it, and so yeah, it's the wheelchair tracks that seem to be the
So no one with a wheelchair could have just gone over there the day before, or
no.
No,
like
couldn't have
you
happened.
just you don't
No.
will yourself near the thing. Okay. Um.
Yeah, I hear your point.
And she finds a
Okay.
secret compartment. She mentions that.
What's the secret compartment?
Where
right,
the
in
clan
closet,
robe was, but there was just a bus there. So like,
Well,
I think,
and her setup is she is very antagonistic against people who dress up. So she maybe is
Mhm.
looking for
Yeah.
something wrong with Angela, I guess.
yeah, yeah. And
And
I
maybe
think
the
as soon as she gets
whole
on that track, like every clue, she's trying to fit into that idea. And hey, she's on the right track. So
I mean,
I
it is.
think Dr. Lube Man, I think is related to Angela somehow.
really,
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Wow, that's a
okay.
I know the
bold
family tree
prediction.
didn't say it, but
I think it's Vadrian Height, a wannabe with an auspicious name.
mhm.
What's your theory?
It's hard to have a theory about
You gotta
Dr.
get no.
Lube
You gotta
Man.
come up with a
Like,
theory.
and why is he a doc? What is his doctorate in?
Linguistics.
Lubology.
Double doctorate?
Yeah.
Or did he fuse the two and that's why he was so innovative?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. There you go.
I don't know what to do with that. It's so ridiculous that it's hard for me to believe. But yeah, I think the idea that it's a family member, that's compelling.
I think we're
Mhm.
never gonna hear another thing about Dr. Lube.
I think we have to. It's
Well,
too random.
they've got the team working on the liquid, right? Aren't they going to identify the liquid or something? Did they say that, or did they make that up?
Oh, did they say that? Like Pirate
I thought she,
Jenny and
yeah,
Red Scarcity?
I thought she was
We're
like, go
gonna do
check this
something.
out.
I mean, I think the question. So the real question is someone spying on her, and if so, why? Oh, you know who it could be? Is Will. Like, what if they tell us Will is the one who was
There's
spying?
no way that was Will.
There's no way.
He's
Why
not in
not?
that good shape.
Why not? What makes you
Jesus.
say that? He is in cahoots with a trillionaire biological engineer.
That would be so weird. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I would be very surprised.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be Louis Gossett Jr.
I think the point of the scene is going to
Yikes.
be that the person was spying on her. So who would have a reason to spy on
Good question.
They don't specifically say they're going to check out the oil, I think.
Okay.
Not that I can see, at least. They transition to the new boss won't care about Lube Man, and then it's just about
Okay.
the
I guess
fact
the oil
that
doesn't matter.
Blake's in the office now. I think it's got to come up again, though. I just feel like they don't drop that in as just a random one-off aside.
No, he'll show up following her, and then she'll catch him
Yeah.
or something, and then he'll
Yeah.
explain. Like
It
what
might
he's
be a very
doing.
small plot point, but I think it has to come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, what could it be? God, what could it be connected? What's the logic here?
Someone
riveting
else.
content.
Someone else who. No. Okay. What was she doing? She was throwing away evidence that Will was at her bakery, right?
Right.
The
Yeah, the
wheelchair. She was
wheelchair and
throwing
yeah,
away.
all the stuff. Yeah.
Which, by the way, is a classic thing of destroying the object so we never see it again. So, like, Will
Yep.
will never be in a wheelchair again.
Yep. You're right. You're right. That's over. Burn it down. We're done.
So I think it would have to connect to somebody else who knows about Will, and
Okay.
maybe she'll catch the guy and he'll know about the pills or something.
Okay. Could be.
You know.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Maybe Blake will have some idea. I'm surprised she didn't bring it up since her specialty is vigilantes.
She didn't bring what up?
Lube Man.
Does she know
I mean, I
about
guess
that?
she shouldn't mention Lube Man because she was like hiding evidence. Maybe that's
Yeah.
the problem. But it's like it would be relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Like,
man,
ever heard
so
of a
many
Lube Man
mysteries.
operating out of Tulsa?
Do you think Lube Man is going to play into what happens in 3 days? In 3 days, Lube Man is going to explode.
I don't think I really believe Lube Man matters that much. I do think like a family connection seems like a good road to go down. That would like put it in a particular place.
That sounds lame.
Well, it makes sense though. Like I just because like I it's hard for me to believe it's connected to anything too big. So I'm just thinking like, where
Yeah.
could they slide it in that would be relevant, but not necessarily like Lube Man is behind everything or
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, I think the easiest thing that shows tend to do in situations like that is like they finally catch the guy and they're like, "Who are you? Who are you working for?" I don't know this person. I don't know who they are. They asked me to spy on you and tell them what you were doing. How can I get a hold of this person?
Oh.
I don't know. They just told me to, write it
So,
down in
yeah.
my diary and put it in
Okay.
a safety deposit.
So I guess
box.
like one like crappy theory would be like Blake sent Lube Man.
Mhm.
Like he's like an informant or something. Like maybe she arrested him or whatever. And
It's Petey.
And so it's Petey. Oh God.
Actually, I was trying to think of who's super tall and skinny, and he is really tall and skinny.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Petey. Okay, Petey. Suit up. Yeah, sure.
It actually
I feel
sort
like
of
that's-
fits with his nerd fandom of
Yeah, and maybe Blake
Mhm.
didn't send him, but he was like, "Oh, I'll know how I can help out. I'll get some information."
Yeah.
Could be. Yeah,
Like he's
yeah.
gonna find something
Could
out
be.
that he can impress Blake.
Yeah, look what I
Mhm.
found. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
that's totally it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
I like
God,
that
you guys
theory.
are just
I
figuring
like
it
that
out.
theory.
Wow.
Yeah, he's very slippery.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I feel like he should have another superpower, another like, I don't know, like all of that, or I feel like whatever his thing is, we'll see it in a different context. It's got, what else can he slip through or slide on or whatever, you know what I mean? Like I just can't imagine
Yeah.
like that's the one trick he can do and that's it, and like
Right.
we'll never see him do something else. So
Maybe he could slide into an AC vent.
slide into some DMs. Slide into an AC vent. Yeah.
Yeah, like Tombs,
From X-Files.
X-Files thing.
Played by Horace from Lost,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah.
There you
Oh.
go.
Yeah.
It all comes back.
Yeah,
to
he's like
Lost.
this character who can like stretch or shrink himself to like fit into like little holes.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. He comes back a few times. It's kind of a big deal.
Maybe
Mhm.
he'll play into the clock. All roads point
What,
back to the
Tombs?
clock.
Are you talking about
Yeah.
Tombs now?
I was
Tombs
talking
is just in the show? Okay.
That's how theories work.
Yeah. Can you prove that it's not going to happen?
I think that's a little bit of a crackpot theory.
Crackpot
Yeah.
theory. There you go.
No offense.
That's my crackpot theory of the episode.
All right. Well, yeah, we're basically halfway through, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
it's
Little
gonna happen.
slightly under halfway through the next episode. We'll be halfway through.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
have no idea what's going to happen.
Because it's 9. Because 8 was not enough.
10's
and
too
10
many.
was too many.
Yeah, I have no idea what's gonna happen.
Me neither.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm interested to see like how they pull it together and get out of mystery zone into
Mhm.
answer zone.
Yep.
I went to the answer zone. No? Just
Oh
me?
yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, we got our theme song. Cool. All right. Well, until next time. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Bye. See you later.
Bye.